Cape Byron Marine Park is a multiple-use marine park of about 22,000 hectares, which extends from Brunswick Heads in the north down to Lennox Head in the south.
The Cape Byron Marine Park contains an extraordinary diversity of different types of marine life, including many hundreds of species of fish and some sharks. It includes seabirds, it includes whales and dolphins, and a very large variety of different types of algae, and lots of marine invertebrates, including important things such as corals, sea anemones, sponges, and lots of marine mollusks.
It's gonna fall to the ground. Oh.
Basically what we've got here is where the Coral Sea pretty much overlaps with the Tasman Sea, so we get a good representation of northern animals with southern animals. So on any given day people can experience animals you'd see on the Great Barrier Reef right beside animals you'd see down as far south as Tasmania and New Zealand.
The Cape Byron Marine Park also supports important habitats for some rare and threatened species. These include the grey nurse shark, the black cod, and some threatened sea turtles. So it's a very important habitat along this subtropical coastline of Australia.
The surrounding waters hold a strong spiritual connection for our people. We have many places of significance that we care for. Julian Rocks, Nothing Gully Nature Reserve holds such strong story for us. Wolgan, the shoulder, the Cape, strong stories. For the women, our totem is Wajang, the dolphin. We believe that when we leave the land, our spirit is a dolphin. So when you look out there, you'll see my mother, my aunties, my old people. For our men, it's Mirren, the sea eagle. And you'll see that mighty hunter flying around the coastal beaches looking for a feed.
Now, the primary purpose of marine parks in New South Wales is to conserve marine biodiversity and ecosystem function and integrity in the marine environment. Now, we do this through a marine park zoning plan, which sets aside different areas where you can and can't do certain activities. For example, in some areas you can fish and collect, and then other high conservation areas you can't. They're protected for the conservation of biodiversity.
One of the really interesting things about marine protected areas is that in many cases when you protect the spawning habitats and the spawning stock, the population starts to recover. And that leads to excess numbers of individuals recruiting into the population, and from that you get a spillover into other marine areas. And that's really important in terms of replenishing fish stocks and other marine life in those nearby coastal environments.
With the flow of the wind or the pull to the earth.
There's a lot of the public feel as though that they can't fish, or that fishing is totally restricted within the marine park, but you still can fish in the Byron area. It's just that you have restrictions. They might not agree with everybody, but you're still open to fish in areas, so it's not a total blanket of fishing in Byron.
The secondary purposes that marine parks are managed for in New South Wales is to manage the use of resources in the marine environment in an ecologically sustainable manner, and also to provide opportunities for research and education in the marine park and use and enjoyment of the area by the public. And of course also to support Indigenous cultural uses in the marine park.
The marine park's really important to my people because it's such an important food source. For thousands of years our people have cared for the land and the water, and we've never taken more than we need. Pippies, fish are such a huge part of our diet here, and it's important that we keep that balance with nature.
It is to be an Australian to be able to go fishing. I think that's one thing that we must sort of emphasise. But in saying that, I think there has to be some sort of protection of our fish stock, whether that being coastal marine parks or estuary marine parks or estuary protection. And I think a coastal marine park is part of a big picture in how we can protect fish stocks for future generations.
One of the projects we have running in Cape Byron Marine Park are our bi-weekly beachside cleanups. All rubbish collected by the community is sorted, counted, and sent away to a national database system where it contributes to ongoing scientific research.
Mama. finally.
One of the most extraordinary recovery stories in conservation management in Australia is Australia's humpback whales. On the east coast of Australia, the natural population size was thought to be about 23,000. That population was virtually destroyed by unregulated commercial whaling last century. But the good news is that we now have about 20,000 humpback whales migrating along our coastline, and they all funnel past Cape Byron.
As a dive shop operator in Byron Bay, we often hear the humpback whales producing their whale song, and that's pretty hard to beat.
Our people would like our visitors to come and enjoy our sea country with us, and make sure that they keep their rubbish contained so it's not entering the waters, and to keep their dogs on leashes and in the dog walking only areas, because it's so important if we're going to look after our sea country.
Generally speaking, we just ask people that come here for holidays to understand that they still can fish, but just to respect the restrictions on the fishing at this stage.
We now need to extend protection upstream. By educating our community on where fish nurseries are located, we can work together to restore degraded estuarine habitat, revegetate our riverbanks, and protect our waterways that all eventually lead out into the ocean.
I think that coastal marine parks are a part of the big picture in protecting fish stocks for future generations.
These people run in circles every single day, 'cause it's a mad world we're living in anyway. Say it's a mad